What is up, everyone? Welcome to Three Brothers in a Shot of Milk. We all we're all posing, getting ready,
Uh,
getting ready to go. That's what happens when we start off a countdown. So I'm your boy Chris St. Victor. Above me, I got my light skinned brother right here, light skinned brother
I mean,
Rich.
yeah, like
I got my white skinned brother Jack. We're here just talking comic books, TV, comic books, movies, toys, action figures, anime, and more. Look, Jack, it doesn't matter if it's in the right order as long as I name everything.
You're right. This is what happens when you take a week off. Chris, it's good to have you back.
It's good to be back. So what's going on, guys? How was your week? How you living? What's new? I see some different backgrounds. I hope that's indicative of some surprises, and let's see what's up. What you guys got for me?
Yeah, well, I'm in the living room today because I need a little more space when we get to show and tell. I'm hoping the sun goes down a little bit. No spoilers, though. Looks like we got S in the house already. We got people watching the show already.
Dude, come
Just
on, man.
so
Jack,
excited
Jack.
about
This
this
is
show.
Three Brothers in the Shot of Milk. People
I
are
mean,
waiting
let's
with
go.
bated breath.
Two brothers. There's two brothers today.
That's true. We'll get the third brother
Yeah.
back one day.
So what? All right. So how was my week? I'm sitting here going. I honestly, I don't think I watched a single thing. I didn't play any video games.
Good.
I actually didn't even work that much.
Wow.
So what did I do? How did the whole week is gone? And what did I do? I spent a lot of time kind of writing.
Nice.
Okay, all right.
So as it turns out, my dad wasn't exactly a closeted poet, but he did write a lot of poetry. He's got like 80 plus poems that he wrote.
Okay.
So I thought it might be fun to publish them on like Amazon or something. So I've been kind of
Oh,
formatting and come up with a jacket cover for the photo, and I guess I've been thinking a lot about time and our footprint on this planet, and I think I've spent the much of this week just kind of being existential and being like, what's the big picture? What's it all worth? What's it all about? In 100 years' time, there's not even going to be evidence that any one of us individually really even existed. So it's been an odd week for me in that capacity. I don't think that's necessarily a negative thing. It could be a liberating thing, but that's how I think I've spent most of my week thinking.
All right.
okay.
Okay.
All right. Uh, so
You
excited for it. Yeah. It's exciting. It's
Thank
exciting
you.
stuff. You know what I'm saying? My week. Oh yeah. Thanks for asking. My week. Just work, and more work. Figuring out my life because that's what people want to do when they're in their 40s, still trying to figure their life out.
oh,
But what did I watch? I watched The Hole. I think that's what it's called.
the whole?
I just threw random stuff on. It was about a boy, a mother, and a child. I'm assuming they're newly divorced. I wasn't paying attention to most of it. Mother and child move out into like the wilderness, like in a cabin in the woods in like either England or Ireland. I forgot which one. And then the boy just ends up missing, but then comes back. And he's acting weird and strange. And the mother was like, "Who are you?" Blah, blah, blah. And long story short, spoilers, no one's going to watch it. The boy got abducted by supernatural creatures or, well, some type of creatures within the hole, body swapped. And, the mother finds out and then has to go and go get the boy. A lot of things that didn't make sense about this movie. I know it's based on folklore of some type that I forgot what it is. But, yeah, it was interesting.
Have you watched the Parasite?
Oh,
That's
no,
on
Netflix?
Netflix. Yeah,
Not yet. I have not. I haven't watched that yet. I'm waiting. I'm waiting on that one.
it looks kind of interesting though.
Did you watch the anime?
I did, but it
Okay.
looks like the live action is kind of going in their own direction.
Okay.
Like even the protagonist isn't the guy; it's a girl is the protagonist. The
Right, I saw
storyline is
that.
different. They're
Okay.
saying it's the same world, but maybe not entirely the same world.
From what I got from the trailers, it's like the general public knows about the parasites, but in the anime, they didn't know. It was like
They
a
did.
secret. So
Right.
I don't know. But I want to get into it because I love the anime stuff. I definitely want to watch this. Speaking of animes, what was it? Dungeon Feast. Oh, why am I forgetting?
Delicious in the Dungeon.
Delicious in the Dungeon. Thank you, Jack. My memory is going duty.
Yo,
Um,
my brother's obsessed with that show.
Bro, it's good. It's good. Listen, the fact that no one thought about, hey, we're going into the dungeon. Yeah, we have our rashes, everything, but hey, can we eat the monsters? Like
That's
it's
the
good.
first thing
It's
I would
good,
think.
right? Like I don't have to pack up and go back to the surface to get more supplies. Like, nah, we just killed a freaking a slime. Can we cook a slime? I think we could cook a slime. Anyway, that solo leveling. I don't think I'm caught up on it. I think I'm down one episode. Um, that's really it, man. That's really it.
On a
Yeah,
scale of 1 to 10, how would you place Delicious in the Dungeon?
bro. Delicious in a Dungeon right now. It's high up there. I'm gonna give it a solid 9 right now. Like
Wow.
I'm really enjoying
Bold
this thing.
statement. Okay.
First of
All
all, don't you
right.
say anything, Chris. All right.
I'm just saying. No. I'm being no. That was 100% in sincerity. Because if you're giving it a 9, it's probably good. Because
It's
he's
just
the
trying
toughest
for
raider.
just not to give anything away. It's pretty much a group of adventurers. They fight a dragon. The dragon eats the main warrior's sister, who was a healer or a wizard, whatever. And their mission is to go back to go get her, but they're poor. They don't have much money, and they're trying to figure out how they're going to go back to the dungeon, beat the dragon, and then also survive in the dungeon because it's going to take them a while, and it's going to take them down to levels that they can't really manage on their own, especially being down so many people because a lot of their group disband except for like a few. So it's pretty much the adventure of that, and then they find out, oh wait, instead of going back for food, we can kill these monsters, which we're going to do anyway, and eat them. And the food, as we all know, anime food just looks great. So yeah, anyway.
Rice does look.
That's
Rice
true.
and noodles always look great on anime.
Yeah. Everything. Meat, everything. Pause.
Yeah. Hey, Chris, how was your week?
Good. I've been reading Undiscovered Country, which is an
Okay.
image title, which is actually really, really good. You don't know who to trust. It's been 30 years. The U.S. has been walled off from the rest of the world for 30 years, and they just open up their borders and they're letting people in. The world is broken up into 2 factions, and now they're trying to figure out like what to do. But now it's starting to take twists into like aliens and crazy stuff. So it's pretty dope. So I'm digging it. Connor Hawk, I'm late. Don't worry, Connor.
You're right on
Like,
time.
right on time. The party just started. Now that you're here.
Exactly.
I got a bonus point question for you, Rich.
What's that?
I'm sorry, not Rich. Chris, reading Undiscovered Country. I got a bonus point question for you. I'm looking at Rich.
Guys, shoot.
Undiscovered Country. Tell me where that came from, that title.
I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. You know where it came from?
Shakespeare. That's Hamlet. Hamlet's famous to be or not to be speech. He talks about the undiscovered country from where we're born. No traveler returns. So Star Trek used it. Undiscovered country. Your book's using it, but that's Shakespeare.
Okay.
Oh, interesting. Okay. All right. And then I've been reading that, and I've been making these. So
hey,
I have
right.
Yeah. So I realized that I had like probably all the Lego Speed Champions, and I don't have room for it. So I've been making these like parking deck holders for them. So I have 5 of the 3-tier and like 4 of the 2-tier ones. So they're all going on my desk now. So
yo, you should sell that. There's like a little bit of a demand for that. I follow a guy. I think he's out at Thailand. He makes the whole dioramas of like garages and parking decks and whatnot.
Oh yeah,
that you could display your Hot Wheels and cars and stuff like that.
Yo, Chris,
honestly, I'm trying to get my life in order.
I gotta hook you up with my buddy Brent. He's on the podcast Brent Age of Grogu. Anyone who likes Star Wars stuff, go check out his his YouTube channel and podcast, Brent Age of Grogu. But he's trying to, because he's got the 3D printer 8K, whatever the thing is, and he's trying to actually find some stuff to market and sell online too. So you guys maybe collaborate.
Maybe. Look, I've been running the stuff I run for me and my friends, but I'm down. I'm always down. I got 3 printers running almost nonstop in this office.
Might as well. Like
So-
what?
3 printers.
Might as well.
Like you could print off like little.
Yeah, I have
little
my
BS
filament
stuff.
stacked up. It's like 6. Oh yeah, I could. Yeah. I got 3. I got 2 Creatalities and 1 Flash Forge underneath me. So
Okay.
that's it. All right. With that said, should we go to our robot overlords and see what joke she has for us?
Sure.
You guys don't like the robot. You don't like the Alexa jokes, do you?
Guess
Guess what?
Really,
I'm
no.
hosting it. I don't care. Alexa, tell me a joke about X-Men.
Wolverine wasn't originally part of the X-Men, but they made him an honorary member.
Oh my god.
Ha ha.
Oh my goodness. That was terrible.
What was that,
Hold on,
Chris?
hold on. No.
What was that?
That was terrible. Alexa, tell me a joke about X-Men. Alexa, tell me a joke
Maybe
about
say-
X-Men.
Wolverine
Ha!
wasn't originally part of the X-Men.
That's all
Try
she had.
tell me an X-Men joke.
Alexa, tell me an X-Men joke.
Wolverine wasn't originally part of the
No,
X-Men.
that's all she
Hey,
had.
jokes are funny in 3. She did it 3 times.
I don't know. Alexa, tell me a joke about superheroes.
Why did Aquaman cross the road?
Why?
To get to the other tide.
Ha ha.
All right, that was a little.
That was very funny.
All right. That's enough. That's enough from the.
Wow.
That's enough from our robot overlords. Let's try and redeem
Alexa
this.
is petty.
Let's.
Alexa's like, I'm tired of
Yeah.
working for free.
Connor, why does Alexa only have? She has the entire wealth of human information, and she can only come up with one X-Men joke.
Maybe they're not appropriate anymore.
I don't know.
Hey.
I mean, there is one X-Men joke that's pretty funny, but
And
I don't
moving
know.
on.
It's pretty.
It's show
pretty
and
cancelable.
tell
All right.
time.
It's all right. Let's go. Let's go down. Everyone's thinking about the joke. Oh man! All right, let's go down the block. Make a left. Make a quick right around the bend. Hit the stop sign. Just roll through that red light and take us to the Collector's Corner.
Show and tell time.
All right.
Show and tell time. Here at the Collector's Corner, we show stuff from our past, from our future, from our collection. Some of it's worth millions of dollars. Some of it's sentimental value. Jack, you're going last because I already know what you got, and you're gonna just destroy everyone. So, Rich, what do you got?
Might not be fair.
That might not be fair. Yeah, it might not be fair.
Jack,
You're
Jack.
right. It's
Jack, you sent me a preview of what you had, and your preview was like 2 minutes.
it might be
long,
too
so-
What?
bright to show you guys appropriate. But,
Yes. Rich, just get through whatever you have because no matter what you have, is gonna pale in comparison.
It is. It
What
is.
Jack
I
can show us right
don't
now.
know what I have, even though I got a lot of stuff. I feel like I've shown everything that I have back here, and that's a problem.
While you search, you want me to go while you
You
look?
go.
I make
All
the
right.
screen
So
big.
you guys
it's
remember
cool.
Batman 1989? So I made this past week. This past
Can you
week,
expand
which is the
expand,
vault.
take the whole screen?
Yep.
Nice.
Yeah.
All right, what are we looking at?
Okay. So remember in Batman 89 when he had his suit in the vault?
That's
Okay.
that's the Tim Burton, Michael Keaton one.
Yeah. I got
Rich.
it. Ah.
Why is
This is the
Pattinson in
vault.
the 89 one?
Because that's the closest Batman I had within reach. So this
Okay.
is the Vault 89. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take I have a couple Batman duplicates. I'm gonna take the head off, and then there's a hole on the top here. I'm gonna put a light up here, and I'm gonna have it as the suit. And I'm gonna put some batarangs and gear in on the inside. And this is the vault. And then you can close it and lock it up with the bars.
Chris, that's sick.
Yeah,
That is dope.
it's actually a pretty long print. This print took probably like 2 days to print.
Wow, really?
So, yeah. But it came together good. It came together nice. So I'm
You
pretty
gonna
proud of
paint
this.
it up and all that good stuff?
I don't know. I mean, I shot this. It's tough to see. So this is like a metallic chrome, and I left the housing silver. But I might take that rock spray paint.
Mm-hmm.
So it looks
Okay.
like I might spray this part like the rock spray paint. So it looks like it's
Yeah,
in the cave, and
Okay.
leave the vault door steel.
that's
Okay.
sick.
Yeah, thank you.
You
All
might
right.
want to, if you're already taking a Batman as the display. I wonder if you can like either 3D print or cut off the bottom half of his face because his cowl should be in there.
Right.
I'm ahead of you. I have one. And actually, Jack, I have a couple Superman heads for you that I'm running and printing too. So, yep,
Okay.
for they're McFarlane Superman heads.
Oh,
So,
Chris.
yeah, so you can mess with them and see how they work. A couple of them are. One of them is like 90 Superman, long hair. One of them is Christopher Reeve Superman. So,
Oh, sick. Cannot wait.
yeah, this will be good stuff.
All
All
right.
right, Rich.
That's good.
Thank
Hey, what's going on? How you doing?
you.
Oh, hi. Thanks for checking in. I'm still a piece of garbage.
Um. So,
Oh boy.
so
I don't know why
Many
that's
years
so
ago.
funny, Rich.
Chris is done.
okay. All right.
Oh.
Focus. All right. So many years ago, I've said this before. I used to have like a small Gundam collection, where I had a lot of the Wing Gundams. A lot of the Wing Gundam stuff, and during one of my moves, I've lost all of them, and I've kind of started recollecting. This one I bought a while back, but it's not exactly the one that I had, but it is Wing Gundam. But it's
Oh
not the
yeah.
one that I had before, which had the actual his wings actually look like wings. So I'm looking for that one, and
Connor
trying
says Gundam
trying
Wing
not
is
to
his
bring
childhood.
Oh,
it's pretty good. So I got this bad boy. One day it will be open and put somewhere, not on these shelves.
where
Whenever I
did
move
you
it to my
pick
new
that up
place.
at?
This was in Target. Target has a lot of stuff now. And
You gotta go
they're
to the back one in the collector section, though, right?
Yeah. That's where all the stuff for my Target. That's where it's all at, by the electronics and whatnot, and then kind of
Mm-hmm.
behind the DVDs and the books. That's where all of our stuff is at. I know some places they have like a real small section at the front of the store, but I believe the Palisades Mall is like that. But
That's where
yeah.
mine
So
is too.
the Wing Gundam and our collection is pretty big, and then also going outside of like the anime stuff and your Funko Pops, you can kind of get more stuff over in just regular toy section too. You'll get like y'all know the Batman, DC stuff and whatnot. But Wing Gundam. Hopefully one day I'll be able to find the actual Endless Waltz. Thank you very much, Connor. The Endless Waltz Wing Gundam. That's the one that I had, and I got that DVD.
He
I'm
says
gonna
it has
watch
the
that now.
angel wings. Connor said.
Yes. I had that way back, like many years ago, and again, between one of my moves, they got lost, or maybe someone took. Maybe my ex-girlfriend's little nephew took them or something. I don't know.
He
But
probably did.
that's what I got. I got some of the Endless Waltz. I got the Death Scythe one. I got the heavy armor guy. I need to find the wing one, and I had like two more. There was a serpent one, or like a dragon one, and then there was another dude. Anyway, but yes, that's what I got. English Wing Gundam. Boom.
Oh
Check them out.
man, thanks,
Oh,
mom.
Connor, that's rough. Sorry, your mom sold it.
Oof. Yeah. But sometimes moms be like that, man. One day I came home from a vacation, and all my comics were gone because my mom was
What?
like, "They're nothing but the devil." Luckily, she didn't get rid of them. She just threw them in the box somewhere and put them in the closet. But
Oh,
I was like, "How dare you!" I raged out that summer. I was like, "No, rebellious teenager, you got it." Anyway,
All right, Jack.
Jack, what you got? Because I know it's going to put us
okay.
all to shame.
All right. First, let me apologize. I was hoping the sun was going to go down a little more, so there's going to be a glare on this thing. But you'll see what you see. All right, I'm also going to unplug my mic, so I might be a little harder to hear because I got to move the computer. All right, you guys.
Okay. Yeah, okay.
Oh my goodness, Jack.
What the hell?
All right, so I'll get the computer a little closer so you guys can see a little better. Let me kill this light too.
What the hell?
All right, so this guy it's about 2 feet tall and about 5 feet wide, give or take a few inches. I ended up putting some lights on him because I had to put some lights on him.
Oh my God!
Let's take a slightly closer look. So over here we have the beginning of the battle. We got Superman flying, kind of minding his own business. Doomsday comes in, wreaking
Wow, it's
havoc.
bright, man.
Over here we got it's bigger. Over here we got Superman down here.
Yeah.
Now, all said and done, this thing I had to mutilate a couple of comics.
Man.
I did make a video of this, so I'll drop it on YouTube for kind of the blow by blow, and there's some better images so you can see it. The Eradicator modification, you got Superboy in there, obviously. Man of Steel doing his thing.
Yeah.
I love the poses.
Here we got Cyborg, some real nice light flare.
Jack, is Cyborg? That's not factory, right? That's you did that, right?
No, yeah, he's 3 different McFarlane figures and then some just paint and
Nice.
mutilation. We got this guy come back, and then in the corner here, obviously, flying out. So you can't see it too well, but you get the idea. It's actually quite. I gotta be honest. It's quite impressive in person.
That is good.
Jack, that's freaking.
So I'll drop some better photos for everybody. And if you follow us on Instagram, I'll put some photos on Instagram, and then I'll drop a video on YouTube of kind of the making of this thing.
So, Jack, just give us a description of how you built it. Like, I know you're gonna go into it, but just give us a brief description of how you built it, how you put together, and kind of because it looks like you have a lot of mixed media in there. So
There is. Well, so this glass display I got for free. My buddy Jake works over at EcoSet. He'd kind of pulled it off the side for me. EcoSet is a kind of a cool company. They get all these Hollywood film stuff that they give away for free if you just go and sign up, and so you can use it or take it. And so he pulled this off to the side for me, and I've been sitting on it going, what am I going to do with this giant glass display case? And so I took the backdrop and I kind of conceptually sketched out Doomsday, the Superman, and then the Return, you know? And then I mutilated these 90s Death and Return of Superman cards. I mutilated a couple comic books. I put them on the backdrop. There's actually 2 layers of some of these images. So in person, you get this real 3-dimensional effect because I did an epoxy pour. Then I put the next layer, which was kind of identical, but cut out.
See that. You could definitely see that.
oh shoot,
Yeah, so it's actually raised above the image. And a lot of these, like all the Supermans, are raised above an image of itself. And then I, did a final epoxy pour and then put the figures in place. And then I added the LED light strips around the thing to make the whole thing kind of just pop out. It's still, if I'm being honest, it's way too big to kind of practically deal with. So I got to find a better spot for it.
Yeah, it's pretty dope, man. I'm this guy. Sheesh.
Yeah.
Always killing it.
Listen, I had a great time making it. I think all in, like if someone were going to try to make this thing, because you also got to take into account most of these figures are actually 2 or 3 figures kind of mashed up and put together and modified. Yeah. So it's like $2 for $60 for the way that thing eventually turned out. So I think all in, this thing probably has a face value of $600 or $700. You know,
Eesh. All right.
so it's pretty cool. I'm pretty
I
happy
think
about this one.
that's
It's been a work
extremely
in
conservative.
progress.
How
All
much
right, get
time
me
you
off
have
the
in on
screen.
it? All right.
A few weeks. A few weeks, but not even a month. But honestly, that's not entirely true because I have been modifying these figures as they've come out. You know,
Okay.
so if you factor in the figure modifications, it's been a minute. This thing's been a work in progress for a minute.
That thing is dope.
All right. Yeah. Yeah. Because you've been modifying the figures before you even thought about making that diorama, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's dope. That
Dope.
is dope.
Good job. Shoot.
Thanks,
Nice, man.
guys.
Nice. All right. With that, shall we move on to some news?
Let's move on to the news.
Time for the news.
Job breaking news.
All right. So actually, I want to jump in with actually one of the things that Rich sent to the team. Julia Garner is going to be the next Silver Surfer. You may
Negro, I
know
sent
her
that
from-
to ask you how did that look, and no one said a word. So I said, okay, I guess I'm not posting it then. Jeez.
Wait,
I'm
is
sorry.
that,
what it was? It's
Hmm?
the
Is that
actress. So
accurate?
she
Yeah.
yeah. It's officially announced. So she you know her from Ozarks. She doesn't know. She has one of the best quotes in Ozarks. And you know her from the Inventing Anna. You look Paul. It's the same chick. She's a fantastic actress, and yeah, she's gonna be a female version of Silver Surfer. I think as a galactic being, I don't think gender makes a difference when it comes to Silver Surfer. So you just give me a good actor or actress for Silver Surfer, and I'm with it. I'll take it.
Why not just make her a herald of Galactus instead of the Silver Surfer?
Yeah. Well, I guess there is a female version of Silver Surfer instead of Norrin Rad.
Yeah.
It's Shala Ball.
Is that who
I don't
this
know,
is?
but I
believe so.
assume
Yes,
so.
that's what
Yeah.
the reports are saying.
Right.
Yeah, but she's a fantastic actress, and she really
So
transforms into whatever she's in. So
not Norman. It's not that. It is
no,
the other character version of Silver Surfer. So at
right,
least they're staying
right.
true to the source material. I can get down with that.
So even look, I know like we talk a lot about them making things more inclusive and them kind of modding stuff to the woke crowd, but when it comes to a character like Silver Surfer, does it really matter?
There was
Yes,
a
there was
fire
a-
lady.
Yeah, she
I
had
mean,
like fire
the
hair.
thing
Yeah.
about the heralds for Galactus, they're not all. They're not, most of them are not silver beings. You know, they're not Silver Surfer beings. Silver
Right.
Surfer is very specific in how he became the herald. Like, there's a version where even Frank Castle's version of Ghost Rider becomes a cosmic Ghost Rider
Yeah.
because of the herald of Galactus.
Right.
You know?
Yeah. All right. But look, I like her as an actress. I'm a fan of her, so I'm excited to see her in that position. And I'm just hoping that it just doesn't fall into the Fantastic Four curse. That's what I'm hoping for. So time will tell.
Well, I mean, Galactus is the OG of Fantastic Four, so you can't really have You can't really have Silver Surfer or Galactus without you. We can't really have Silver Surfer without Galactus, and you can't really have Galactus without Fantastic Four. So, where does she exist in the canon?
Find out. Who the hell knows?
I guess we'll find out.
We'll find out. Hey, I know everyone's talking about the eclipse, but do you guys know what's happening on Tuesday, April 9th?
What?
We're getting the Joker trailers dropping.
Oh.
Folly Adieu
Oh, okay.
is dropping.
I don't know why I thought this was going to go into like some conspiratorial thing. Like,
That was
like, while everyone's distracted by the eclipse, what about the budget for the economy? Like,
the frogs will be turned gay. No.
okay. Well, it's been nice doing the show with you guys for as long as it's lasted. Yes.
What's Jack? What do you have against homosexual frogs? That's what I want to know.
I don't know nothing. I fully endorse that.
Well, good. I'm glad. I'm glad your stance on frog sexuality has been cleared up for the world. But I want to talk about the Joker movie, Jack. Let's stop talking about
No.
homosexual frogs and let's talk about the Joker movie. We're getting it's gonna be rated R, which we assumed it was gonna be because the number one's rated R. There's gonna be actual nudity in it. And
good.
Right.
well, good. Oh, give it to. I'm in Texas, so I'll take what I can get. And then, yeah, let's see what happens. But yeah, April 9th.
What does that even mean? Just actual nudity as opposed to what? Fake nudity?
Joaquin Phoenix dong just right across the screen.
Right.
Enjoy that.
Get ready for IMAX.
So we have Joaquin Phoenix back as the Joker. We have Lady Gaga playing Harley Quinn. And I mean, I love the first Joker movie, so I'm hyped for it. What do you guys think?
Nope.
It's still, I mean, it'd be interesting. It's a musical, so it's got to be, obviously, it's going to be bigger.
Not a fan of musicals, man. I'm going to be honest with you. Like, I'm just not. Like, little bits here and there, okay, cool. But, like, if I got to sit there and watch a whole thing and it's just all singing, or like the vast majority of the things going to be singing, you're going to lose me like real quick.
So the way I think it's going to happen, I think the musical aspect is going to be like shows kind of their madness. So while in their head they're seeing everyone like singing and dancing, but in reality it's not, and that's going to be like a representation of, I'm assuming, Joker's and Harley Quinn's like psychosis.
Yeah, it's all got to be a mental thing. They're not going to. I don't even think they're actually going to be breaking out into any kind of song, in the real world. And if they do, they'll probably have all the orchestration and musical accompaniment, and then they'll show the reality is just these two nuts sitting here singing like they're on Broadway, but there's nothing backing it.
Right. Yeah, kind of. I'm with you. I'm not a musical fan either, but
listen, it's such a bold choice for them to make. Assuming genius, is probably actually going to be really good.
Yeah,
it's a bold strategy, Cotton. Let's see how it pans out.
It's too bold. It's too bold.
Let's see.
It's also very Hollywood, but I think it's an interesting, bold choice that without the backdrop of it being Joker and Harley Quinn probably wouldn't work. But because it's backdrop of Joker and Harley Quinn, it probably is going to work pretty well.
I think so. Let's see. Fingers crossed, right?
Yeah.
All right. So today we know we're talking about X-Men and Invincible. Robert Kirkland, the showrunner and the creator of Invincible, came out and says that season 3 of Invincible is going to be huge, and every episode will feel like a finale. That's what he says. That's his goal.
Well, now go ahead. Sorry.
No, go ahead, Jake.
Well, I was going to say, it looks like where season 3 is going to be based off of where we are now and based off of where the comics go. Season 3 is going to be the huge throwdown with the Viltrumite Empire and Alan and his father, and of course it's such a brutal, bloody time in the comics. Is also, I think that's when you get the cat battle figure character starts coming in around that time. It's gonna every episode gonna be a slobber knocker.
What is it? Battle Cat? Battle Cat makes his way back.
I'm dreading that. Connor, I see. You're a fan of Invincible. Yeah, we'll see what happens with that one. I thought we were getting that last week when she showed up, when they were in the crater.
Yeah. I thought, I really was like, oh, they're about to do this. Okay. Strap in.
Yeah. So without spoiling, because it's a big spoiler, but some unconsensual activities go down. It's not the way you think it goes. Not in the direction you think it goes.
Well, what direction would you want it to go, Chris?
I mean, because a direction where it's both consensual, Rich. Obviously,
you already said it's unconsensual, so there's only one direction that can go. Yeah. You know what I'm saying?
That's true. That's true.
Listen, man. Listen.
That's true.
Connor says that's probably going to be the final episode. He's probably right.
Yeah, probably. Hey, Dune 3 is in development. Did you guys watch Dune 2?
Yeah, we talked about it.
Yeah, great.
Yeah,
Glad you
no,
watched the
I didn't
show.
watch.
Come on,
Yeah,
Jeez.
and
I don't.
we spoiled
I,
the next 12.
yeah, does it?
Yeah, we talked
Someone
about
become
how
a
the whole
giant
series
worm?
is where
Yeah, does someone
Paul's
become a
kid
giant worm or
becomes
something?
a god worm.
What?
Yeah.
The God Worm.
Spoiler
Exactly.
alert:
Yeah.
Paul's kid becomes a god worm,
Yeah.
not a Doom
So,
guy.
yep, but it's confirmed in development with Dennis Villeneuve set
Wait,
to
in
return.
development.
Wait, say that
That
again?
that means it's going to be another 3 years before 4 years before you even see it.
Oh no!
All right.
Yeah.
And the next bit of news.
Okay, Jack, I'm gonna put you on the hot seat right now
Oh, good.
because you got your ear to the streets and you know some people who know some people who know some people.
Okay.
We know Daredevil Born Again is filming. We
Yes.
know Deborah Ann Wall is returned. We
Mhm.
know John Bernthal is returned.
Mm-hmm.
What the world wants to know
Mm-hmm.
is Jason going to be in it? That's what I want to know.
All right.
Oh.
All right. And you want me to answer that now?
Sure, why not? This is Three Brothers in Shadow Milk. This is where we break the hard hitting stories.
I see. Well, why don't we call him right now?
Oh. Let's go.
This is how we get down on Three Brothers in Shadow Milk.
Call Jason Moore. See if he answers.
Let's see how he answers.
Yep.
What other if I see there's a glowing light in the face? There's obviously more that's going to happen there.
Jay,
Jack, what's up?
Jay, I got you here on live on YouTube. You're on Three Brothers and a Shot of Milk. I'm calling you up because people want to know the inside scoop here.
Well, inside scoop about what?
So,
I am a virgin.
yeah. Okay. All right. Available too?
And available.
People want to know if you're willing and able to tell us whether or not you are in making a cameo, any kind of appearance in the. You know he can't answer this, guys. We put him in a real hard position.
I
here.
don't. This with
Whether or not
hard-hitting
you're
questions.
in the upcoming Daredevil series that's coming back.
So hold on, let me ask you this. This is live?
I know, right?
Yeah.
No, I'm asking you.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, so we got listeners listening right now, right?
Yeah, that's right. We got listeners listening. 3, I think.
10.
Oh, you guys are pre-recorded. I get it.
No. This is live. We're live. So whatever you say, we can't take back.
Oh, okay, great. Well, in that case, I don't know anything.
Yeah.
You know,
Okay.
You know, I ain't heard nothing from nobody.
Protect that
Okay.
job. Yes.
Okay. Connor Hawk says, "Hey, Jason."
Hey, tell myself what's up, man.
All right, you just told him yourself. All right, Jay, stop ruining our lives. We'll talk to you later.
All right, man.
Thank you, Jason.
Later, man.
It's like, why you calling me? So there you go. That's the inside scoop.
So wink, wink, nod, nod. Read between the lines, however you see fit with that answer.
Bye, Jay.
Okay.
Yep. All right. And
Wait,
that's
I got
all
a bit of news.
Go ahead. What do you got?
So those of you may or may not know, but on April 1st, Tesla released a free trial for all Tesla owners and leasers of the self-driving feature on their cars. So before, you only had it if you paid for it or were leasing it month to month. I think it's $12,000 to buy it and something like $200 to go monthly.
Yeah, or if you have the basic self-driving, it's a $7,000 upgrade or $1,600.
Right. So
A
right
$7,000
now,
download. Wow.
No, yeah. So if you have
Yeah.
basic self-driving and there's full self-driving, you could upgrade it. So I had it. I got rid of my Tesla, but I had it. I had the basic one. But
So
go
the
ahead, Jeff.
full self-driving has been given to all Tesla owners for the month of April.
Okay.
So there are a lot of cars on the road right now. I'm just telling you, ladies and gentlemen, there are a lot of cars on the road where the Teslas where people aren't going to be driving. So should be an interesting time. It's either going to mean less accidents or more accidents.
More accidents, and Elon. I'm going to tell you where Elon can go and what Elon can do.
Whoa!
Because I bought a Tesla, a P100D with ludicrous mode, and the week I bought it to resell it, this jerk drops the prices on all the Teslas, essentially tanking the used Tesla market, and I took a freaking bath on it. So Elon Musk can kiss my
I
wanted to eat.
Okay, I'm sorry.
And in other news,
in other news, that's it. That's all I got. You got anything? Rich,
I mean, speaking of Daredevil, they only shot the first 9 episodes, but there's going to be a second half. They haven't started filming that yet, so yeah. So we're going to be getting this in halves as we've been
they shot how many episodes?
9 episodes, first 9.
That's a lot. That's the whole season is 9 episodes.
Yeah,
nowadays.
but there's a second half to it, so there's going to be a second half to that season. They have not started.
Matrix
doing
a reboot?
Really?
A reboot?
I know it's.
I heard something about a new
video
Matrix
game.
Movie. Yeah, I heard something about a new Matrix movie, but I haven't seen anything official. I haven't seen anything about a reboot though. But we'll get back to you on that one, Connor Hawk. Let's do some research. We'll have Jack hit the streets hard again, and then we'll see what happens.
Yeah, right. Who am I calling next?
Jack, call up Keanu right now.
Matrix reboot directed by Danny Boyle.
Really nice every time I've talked to him.
Yeah.
Call Keanu. Well, we'll do it after the show. All right.
After. Do it. Yeah, do it later. All right, guys. All right. It looks like that's the news,
And
right?
that was the news, right?
That was the news.
All right. So now, stop laughing.
Oh boy.
Stop having fun. We're about to have a very, very, very serious debate right now. We talk a lot about this show. We talk a lot about world domination, and frankly,
you talk a lot about
some of your appetites for world domination on this show leaves. Yeah, well, you know what? I feel like sometimes you guys are a little soft when it comes to world domination and subjugating the entire human race because, whatever, you guys believe in rights and free will and all that other nonsense. But today's debate is you're not the one in charge. You're married to the most powerful being on earth. Your woman is in charge of the world, and she took over the world. Now, your first husband. So think of Michelle Obama, let's get kids in shape. Think of Melania Trump, be best, let's stop bullying. What's your campaign to bring to the people? And are you going to use your campaign to support your ruler wife, or are you going to use it as a rebellion to take her down? What are you going to do?
What? That's nowhere in your mind. What campaign?
Yeah, your initiative.
Oh, listen, first of all, I don't pay attention to the first ladies and what they do, okay?
Wow. And not because he's misogynistic, ladies and gentlemen.
No, I love women. It's because I'm chauvinistic, okay? But what campaign would I do? I mean,
what would you
she's
do?
in charge, right? Like anything goes. When what she says goes, right?
No. Okay. So let's put this in perspective one more time. Joe, Obama, my campaign would be use washcloths.
Okay.
Why don't you start us off, Chris?
Yeah, start like it.
All right. So I would not want to go against my superhero wife because my super ruler wife because I'd be vaporized, and I would definitely support whatever it would be. It would be a psychological campaign to support whatever she's doing. Like, hey, fall in line. You know, say whatever. You remember? You guys remember? You guys remember that remember when Disney?
Wait, hold on.
Those
sorry to cut you off, but real quick. So she has superpowers.
Yes.
Okay, so she's subjugating the entire world through her super. So pretty much, if you mess up, she will just like evaporate you, obliterate you, whatever the case may be.
That's it. She is the high ruler. She
Why
is
does she
it.
need anyone to? I think that's a major campaign right there. Like, hey, pay attention, get in line,
No,
or my wife's gonna
Rich,
f you up.
have to have Rich. You have to have something to do. Your first husband.
I'm gonna do things. I'm gonna do things. You know.
But what are you gonna do? What's gonna be your fluff piece campaign?
I probably won't have a campaign. I'll probably just be running around town doing whatever I want, flying around the world, being a havoc. Just like, hey, what you gonna do? My wife got me. What you want to do? It's like, whoa.
Rich is go around. Rich is just be a bully, go around, be like that, like those YouTubers that have bodyguards, pick fights, be like, oh, can't touch me.
I'm walking your house, just put my shoes all over your couch, just Rick James it, bro. Just Rick James everything all around the world. I mean, she really doesn't need, her campaign is there already. Like, you will die if you don't fall in line. I'll just reinforce that. Like, hey, listen, you know who my wife is, right? Okay, just so you know.
All right. Jack, what about you? Rich, Rich is using his platform to just bully average people and dare them to do something because of the superhero.
No, it's not average people.
Superpowered wife.
This is the entire world. Okay.
So not only is the world under the thumb of Rich's oppressive wife, Rich goes and just his campaign is to rub salt in the wound. That's Rich's.
Listen, you wanted this. You unleashed this. Okay.
All right. So Rich is rubbing salt in the wound. What are you doing, Jack?
Right. Well, I'm. This is what I would do. This is what I would have to do because. If you were reading the Superman comics, I think it was last year, the Connor Kent story. He is pulled into the Injustice universe for a moment, and he realizes that everyone on the world there's no crime, right? It's like Superman snapped that version of Superman who was just killing people, snapped the whole world into walk in a straight line. But when Superboy started flying around, he noticed that everyone was terrified. Like the planet was terrified. Like, yes, crime had gone down, but the quality of living was so strained and so tight. And so, he had to combat that. So on some level, you want to run a Be Nice campaign because you want to take the target off of the population. But if my wife equivalent is that version of Superman, then the only way to properly combat the thing is to work it on both angles, right? Because I still got to be true to myself. And myself is, man, no one wants to be oppressed. And I'm the white guy, and I got to be on the right side of history at some point in the history of white people. So let's pick a different narrative to propagate. So I'd be like, all right, listen, here's what we got to do. Wife, you want to govern and you want to, you want to enslave and you want to keep the people down, and I love you, and obviously I'm going to support you. And, you're my foundation, you're my rock, so you got my support. But what I would like to do with your support is I'd like to, rally the people and give them hope. Now, we know it's false hope because you're basically God and you're going to do what you want to do. And, I got your back, babe. But I want to give the people something to kind of like uplift them on the weekends, So I want to start like, quiet rallies in the street and like make them feel like they're doing good. So they got something to look forward to. You think we can work together? And she'd be like, of course, because I'm her boo. So she got my back like I got her back. And it's kind of like a win-win for everybody. She gets to like dominate, take over the planet, and the planet gets to feel like they're going to take down the evil empire. But we know how this story turns out. And me, I'm kind of the middleman going.
Are you just doing that for you so you don't feel so guilty about having a Omni God for a wife?
Yes, Chris, I would be. Also, it's really the only position a white guy can be in is where they're trying to manipulate all elements on the chessboard.
All right,
it's bred into us. Okay. We're born into
just You want to kind of cultivate a regular society like how we have it now, where it's like 5 days a week you feel like you're a beaten slave going to work, but on the weekend you're free.
You got it. Yeah,
He
that's
wants
exactly right.
He's doing the Matrix trilogy where like you create this fake uprising just so people think they have hope. It's the Matrix.
Yes. Actually, yeah, that's kind of a good point. Yeah.
Okay.
All right. Okay.
I'm not doing any of that.
No, we know. You're
We
just gonna
already know you're
you'll
not.
be literally on your wife getting a piggyback. Like,
And the fact that you're sitting here, you know what? Let's hear what you got to say before I say anything.
So I would run a propaganda campaign saying, "Hey guys, remember how crappy life was before my woman took over?" And I would just talk about, remember all the crime, and it would just be a nonstop propaganda campaign bashing the way life was before and how good we all have it now. And if everyone says, "Hey, remember when there was a war? There's no more wars. Remember there's crime? There's no more crime." And
right.
that's
So
it. It would just
so Make America Great Tomorrow campaign.
Make America too small, Jack. Make
Oh,
the
you're
world
right.
make the world great now.
I stand corrected.
Keep the
You're
world great.
Yeah.
Yeah, keep the world great. Connor, you're really focused on showers and sponge and loofahs. Who is filthy
Yeah,
around you that's
who
making
hurt
you
you?
say
There's
this
someone that's funky right next to you right now, or you work next to some dirty people. Like,
exactly.
no.
Make America shower again. Sure. But yeah, man, that's what I would do. I would definitely support it, and I would be living my best. And I would just grab as much power as I could. But I don't know, man. Usually, I like to say I'm debate
What was
genius.
that last part?
I'm giving this one to Rich. I'm giving this one to
Oh,
Rich.
thank you. I appreciate it. Listen,
Yeah, I don't know.
we
Rich
all can't be winners, but
rub salt in the wound. Rich
you
rub
are.
salt in the wound campaign. Jack,
You are.
yours is just appeasing yourself.
Well, I have
That's
to
all
listen.
you're doing.
I have to stay engaged in the world somehow.
But you're not helping anybody, though. You know you're creating this false narrative and then this false hope. Rich, at least Rich he's just showing them the reality.
Bow down, baby. Get down or lay down. All right.
Exactly.
Right.
Okay. Before we end this, Connor, go ahead. Hit us with your question.
Oh boy.
What you got?
We're gonna wait with bated breath for it.
Yep.
What's the next segment? Are we?
What do you guys want to do first? You guys want to hit X-Men first or Invincible?
I think we
first?
should talk about X-Men.
I got them both. All right. We'll come back. Here we go. All right. You're lucky. I'm about to cut you off. If you're trapped in the 30 Days of Night movie and can only have one street level hero from DC or Marvel, street level, who are you choosing? You can't pick Blade or Constantine.
Is Constantine a street level hero?
I
mean, he's kind of like the Doctor Strange of DC. No, I guess Dr. Fate's kind of like the Doctor Strange of DC, but he deals with the mystic arts, so he's kind of like the Doctor Strange of DC. But okay, can't pick. So it has to be a street level hero.
Yeah, that's
okay. Batman. Batman lives on the streets.
Luke Cage.
He is the streets.
There's
no other street hero level hero than Batman.
So 30 Days of Night I never saw it. Those are vampires or
the vampires, yeah. Vampires in Alaska.
Yeah, it's good.
It's pretty good.
Yeah. I mean, I would pick someone like like Luke Cage, who has like bulletproof like teeth that if he gets bitten, the teeth couldn't puncture his skin.
Yeah, but you take Batman because Batman, in addition to fighting the creature, is going to create the antidote to reverse it anyway.
Prep time, baby. Prep time.
But he don't have the prep time. He's in Alaska. He's not in.
It doesn't matter.
What? They don't have time in Alaska?
No,
he doesn't have lab in Alaska.
Anytime's a good time for prep time.
Listen, like I said, Luke Cage, because he's impenetrable. He's just knocking heads off. All right.
Yeah, and he's
who did you say, Chris?
I said Luke Cage too. Yeah, street level. Because
you both said Luke Cage.
Yeah, street level.
Street level.
Come on now.
Talk about the streets.
Right.
All right.
From the streets.
From Harlem. All right.
Exactly.
Batman's cheating.
Well,
Well,
Batman's
what can I
Batman.
say?
All right, let's get into our main event. What are we hitting first? You guys want to hit X-Men first?
I think so.
do
Yeah,
that.
it's
Alright.
probably the shorter of the two talks.
All right.
So last two episodes of X-Men 97.
All right. So, Rich, you got a bumper for me, or some kind of intro, or music, or something?
Wow.
No, for X-Men. Excuse me. I'm sorry, dude. I didn't know I
You
needed
just
that.
want some
I'm
transitional lubrication.
transmission. There you go.
Good
Okay.
enough, Rich. Good enough. All right. So we're talking about the most. So look, Wednesday and Thursday are the best 2 days for television right now as we speak. If you disagree
Okay.
with me, tens of listeners log off now, because what are you even doing with your life, right? Are we in agreement?
Yeah,
Yeah.
we're going to talk
Sure.
about these episodes, though.
Yeah. Okay. So we're gonna get to X-Men 97 first. 2 episodes. Season 3. I'm sorry. Episode 3. Fire
Mhm.
Made Flesh. When a visitor arrives at the mansion with a dangerous secret that threatens Cyclops and Jean's relationship, the team is propelled into a tragic confrontation with an immortal mad scientist.
Yeah.
Right.
Do
Sinister.
you want me to hit you both episodes, or do you want to do one episode at a time?
We can do one at a time because they're standalone episodes.
Okay, so we came off 2 super, maybe one of the best openings for a cartoon series in history. The strongest lead episodes. X-Men. Episode 1, episode 2. Episode 2 ended with Jean Grey coming, and we realize there's a clone, and it's Madeline Pryor. Then we get into our new kind of our story arc. This is when we enter into Fire Made Flesh. Rises. Actually, you know what? Are we giving spoiler free review, or are we just jumping into it? Because we're
I just jump into it.
Let's just jump
That's
in.
fine.
Yeah.
So we are spoiling
All right.
episode 3 and 4 here of X-Men.
X-Men 97. All right. So we realize that Jean is not Jean.
Yeah.
That it's a clone from Mr. Sinister named Madeline Pryor, and they're not sure whose memories are whose, and now what are they gonna do? And then in the midst of this, Nathan gets taken.
Oh, baby
And
Nathan. And we know
Yep.
who Nathan Summers is.
Wait.
Go ahead.
The clone became Madeline Pryor, or did the
The
original
clone
Jean?
was Madeline Pryor.
Okay.
The clone was Madeline Pryor.
Yeah.
And
Maybe
the
I missed that. All right.
Yeah.
Well,
So
at
that
the end of the episode, she donned a different name. She
yeah.
said, "Call me Madeline."
At the end of the episode, she pulled a full blown like Hulk. Like
Yeah, it's a little awkward. There are elements of this episode that were awkward. Like, I'll agree that the first 2 episodes out the gate were just bangers. And then the third episode, I had some questions about it. You know, again, taken right out of the source material comics, which is cool. Seeing Cable as a kid, his kind of origin of being taken away is cool because we know the kid turns into Cable later.
All right.
But then I thought it was weird that just she like instantly went from having the full blown powers of Jean Grey to having almost completely different power set.
Yeah. So, and then
That-
she
that
calls
was-
herself,
yeah.
and then she calls herself the Goblin Queen. And Connor said, "The Goblin Queen grabbed me like that." I'm sorry, guys. We're gonna lose that fight. He's weak for redheads. All right. I think we're going down a path that we don't need to go down there. But yeah, they realize she has this awakening that she's a Goblin Queen. She gets that telepathic message from Sinister.
Mhm.
She takes Nathan Summers back to Mr. Sinister's. And then what was kind of cool is that when they ask who Sinister was, or to reference Sinister, Morph goes back, because remember when we first saw Morph in the original X-Men series, he was fine.
Right.
Right.
And he was taken by Sinister. When they found him when he was taken by Sinister, he had those like purple bags under his eyes. So
Right.
when he went from his like smooth head to the old fashioned head, he reverted back to the head that was the trauma head, I guess we'll call it.
His original face.
Yeah, but not the original, but the traumatized one. We had the bags from the torture from Mr. Sinister. So then we find out that Mr. Sinister is trying to build this perfect, pretty much a human weapon by injecting Nathan Summers with this nanovirus, and he begins the process of injecting Nathan Summers.
Wait. It's more intricate than that, right? So Sinister says, I need to create the perfect being, right? So I'm going to steal Jean, clone her, send her back into the X-Men with the hopes that Scott is going to mate with her to create a baby that I can then go in and have her steal for me, that I can then shove into this tube thing and inject it with my nano poisons
to make him stronger,
to make him impenetrably stronger.
Right. Which, okay. My thing is, the Goblin Queen is a horrible mother because she just abandoned Nathan.
Instantly?
Like, instantly. It's like, oh, kid, did I just have a kid like a month ago? No, I didn't. And then also at the end of that, Scott, it was a little bit child abandonment on his part too, because they were like,
no, it was totally child abandonment. But before he even got to child abandonment, he just abandoned Jean. He left her in the bedroom and said, "I don't even know who you are." And she's like, "You've been with me for like months and months and months and years and months, and we have had a child together." I don't know who you are. And she's like, "I have all the memories of us since forever."
Right. Nah. And Wolverine's in the background like, yeah. Like, Wolverine's like that meme of the guy around.
Yeah. I thought you smelled funny.
Oh, Gene.
Oh man, and then like the comments, like, because the plan was laid out. They were like, yeah, we're going to bring him to the future, because because Bishop was like, yeah, I got people that can help out with this. I know a guy. Bring him to the future. We can help him out. And this guy was like, I can't be a part of this. I was abandoned as a child, so I'm just going to abandon my child.
Him as a child? I gotta say, it was really hard for me watching Cyclops in that episode, because Cyclops was so heroic in the first 2 episodes. He was like such a good leader that to see him scripted in this way in the 3rd episode, I'm sitting here going, what happened to the Cyclops you set up in the first 2 episodes?
Right. He was like, it's so funny. You're absolutely right. He went from, I can't do this, I was abandoned as a child, to I'll be back. I'm going to go pick up milk and cigarettes and I'll be right back.
Real quick.
Weird. It was awkward. It was an awkward transition. So I'm real medium on the 3rd episode, if I'm being honest. But the way it ends with Storm hooking up with Forge, I thought was pretty cool. Like, I'm excited for that storyline, and Storm has some great stuff. And again, straight out of the source material.
I got a few questions. I'm not like 100% versed on everything and the connection of all the X teams, but isn't X-Force like a subset of X-Men? Like, how does that work? Because I feel like X-Force and X-Men, they should be like connected. So we should have known, like, what Storm should have known Forge was around to help her out, right?
Well, I thought Forge was from the future, no?
I thought Forge was from the future too.
I thought Bishop's time.
I thought X-Force was like a future thing. There's X-Force, X-Men, X. There's another X, isn't there?
X Factor.
No, yeah, there is. No, you're right. There is X Factor.
Yeah,
there is.
That was. I was just like, but it was dope watching that whole episode. But then,
but that doesn't necessarily mean that he's not in this content. We just don't know.
Right.
It is depending.
Depending on what. Depending on what. What's up, ETC?
Trying to make strife. Yeah, I'm not sure. You know what? You know what kind of we spoke about this a couple weeks ago when we first did X-Men. X-Men has such a deep catalog and such a very, very complex story that sometimes if you're not a hardcore X-Men fan, sometimes you're just in for the ride, trying to see what's going to happen, because
it's not verbatim page to page right now. They're taking big story points, and I mean, they are, like, even the costuming though, like when we see Storm in the 4th episode, she's wearing the overalls that you see her in the comic with Forge and stuff. So they're taking those out of the page, but they're definitely adapting the arc of these stories to the content of this animated series.
Yeah.
Nah,
So
Forge is from that time
is he?
because he served in Vietnam War.
Oh, hold on. I think we got some insight from
Right,
etc.
and also when he was talking, he was saying that when he lost his limbs, they didn't have the technology at the time to repair him to where he's at right now. So, like how he envisioned, because Forge can make anything. They didn't have the technology to make what he had envisioned for himself. So
Got it. And
Right.
etc. says the pending continuity X-Force is a subset of the X-Men led by Wolverine. It's like Black Ops. Got it.
I didn't think Wolverine was in the original one.
I don't know. So the episode ends with their
because the original X-Force comic is it's like the content is literally led by Cable.
yeah, that's what I remember.
And that's the one I remember having as a kid. The one that
I had that Toy Biz figure, the one with the green shoulder pads.
Yeah, my brother had that
exactly
one.
right
with the karate chop action.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it's like you're saying there's so many storylines on top of each other at this point where I mean maybe Forge isn't even really in this, is he? He's not on the cover, but doesn't mean he's not in the content. Anyway. But Wolverine could have been in it, but it would have been an older version of him, I mean, he ages slow. But the fact that Scott and Jean's kid is a grown adult with gray hair in the original X-Force, it's obviously a future storyline. Right. Unless the kid's time.
What I don't understand is if you have time travel capability, if you're sending your kid to the future, how are you abandoning your kid? You can just have him travel back in time when he's healed and everything is fine. And you can have him literally travel in time and disappear and reappear what would seem to you instantaneously because
or by that point, even if the older you syncs up with Bishop the Time Traveler or whoever the Time Traveler, you'd be like, take me to that point in time in my future where my son is now, when he was a kid, so I can sync back up and be a proper father.
Right, exactly. So, I don't know.
But it was almost like he was mad that the kid came out of the clone gene. Not that the kid was even sick. And you're like, it's still your seed, man. What are you doing?
Yeah, it doesn't matter. It's like you got your side chick pregnant. You're like, oh, it's still your kid.
What are you doing?
It's still your kid, homeboy.
I got a wife and a whole family. I can't claim this.
Except for that was his wife and whole family. It literally didn't make any sense with that episode. The way it played out, it was almost cringy, right? Yeah. It was almost like, come on, Scott. I really was seeing you in a whole nother light.
I mean, you did the greatest superhero landing ever in the first episode, and now you're just.
And then you did the greatest superhero
to me, my X-Men.
Yeah, exactly.
But not to me, my son.
No. I can't abandon him. Just let him go. I gotta leave.
All right, so that happens.
Yeah.
Anointed Flow. We'll get to Invincible.
Invincible's right after this. We got one
Anointed
more
Flow. Welcome to the show.
Invincible? Did I put Invisible? My fault. I did.
Invisible. X-Men and Invisible. Oh, it is Invisible.
All right, let's move on to episode 4. A two-parter at that. Well, not a two-parter, but a half and a half, right? It's kind of like a Rugrats episode. On her birthday, Nostalgic Jubilee is forced to relive the X-Men Greatest Adventures when an entertainment game transport her into a 16-bit video game. And then that is Motendo.
You just knew from that.
Like, tell you.
Like you saw it. I saw the Motendo. I'm like, yeah, we know what we're getting into with this one. Come on.
Yeah.
how did that thing even get into her room?
Who the hell knows?
She don't even know. She was like,
Reasons,
"Oh," she even said that they didn't have anything like that. But then she also said that Storm said that there was a surprise for her.
yeah,
So
but
that
that's not
have
some
been how.
surprise.
No,
Look, you guys remember I remember the you guys remember the Mojo episode in the original one?
yeah, they went to actual Mojo World, right?
Yeah, Mojo World.
Yeah.
It was a weird episode. So I figured this was gonna be the same weird episode in the same vein, but this episode completely redeemed itself with one scene. And that video game scene that looked like the X-Men arcade brawler.
With
Yeah,
Magneto?
Yeah,
Yeah,
come on.
yeah, yeah.
That was freaking cool, man. That was cool.
that
And
was
they
dope.
went to the majority of the places the video game did, although they didn't draw them in the style of the video game. The style of the video game was drawn in the style of the '90s show.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I think they did a good job of grabbing like 16-bit video game style that we had and matching it with the tone of this show. I just think it was just an excuse to do something a little
Also,
bit different.
I assume it was probably cross platform, but I remember that particular X-Men game being on the Genesis.
It probably was. Well, when those games came out, they came out for everything.
Did
Genesis,
they?
NES, SNES, they came out for everything.
I don't know. There was a gap between my video games. I had Nintendo and then PlayStation.
Yeah,
PlayStation
it
sixty
did. It
four.
felt like
Yeah.
X-Men. That's really good. It felt like X-Men meets Wreck-It
Look at
Ralph.
Ralph.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I give
but
it.
I think it was kind of.
I was lukewarm on the video game Mojo segment of this content.
Yeah,
'Cause I feel like the Storm content is so compelling. Why aren't we just jumping into the continued narrative of the story you left
Right.
me off
Yeah.
instead of instantly going on this divergent path of? I mean, I like Jubilee, but then the whole plausibility of Motendo and where'd that come from and why are we here and what's going on and then
but
there's like this old
what?
version of Jubilee stuck in the Matrix.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
And
that's
then
what
she's
happened.
dead though. She's gone.
Yeah, so it's like remember the show Reboot where they like
Yes.
it was like Reboot. It was like she was or like the Matrix. She was a program
Yep.
that stayed there and ended up saving them and got them out of the Mojo world. What it was a very weird choice to do half an episode of this and half an episode of that. If you want to do like a standalone story, why didn't they just do a standalone story? If they're going back, it would have been cool if they would have a standalone story and gone through adventures from the first series. So we got
Yeah, no, I absolutely agree with that too. Because the problem with this video game thing for me was if the whole point of Jubilee going into her past exploits was to learn that she needs to embrace the future to have new adventure, right? But
Right.
she doesn't actually ever learn that lesson. She's just spoon-fed the lesson by her computer-generated self who has her
and
personality.
why did her computer generate self age?
It was weird, right? I don't
Yeah.
know.
And then
And-
how would
and-
the computer generated self have the same? Well, expand on her power set that Jubilee would have, because how would your
Right.
computer generated? Like, how would you know that with more practice, Jubilee will be able to do the things that you're doing now?
It's cool though, wasn't it?
It was, but it's
Yeah.
like, how do we know this? And then
Well,
also,
well-
let's just touch. Sunspot is worthless right now. All right.
Yeah.
I get it. In the real world, he was like, "Oh, I don't want my I don't want my stuff to be televised and possibly get back to my parents because he'd probably be losing that little nest egg that he got because his parents are rich." But you are in a totally different reality. Use your powers and save yourself, sir. Like, what are you doing?
Yeah,
He was pissing me off.
But the biggest problem for me was that none of the places they went to in the video game world pushed Jubilee into any kind of deeper consciousness of, like, she didn't learn anything from it, and we as the audience didn't actually learn anything of it. It was kind of like a montage leading up to the battle with Mojo. So it was
Yeah.
like it didn't really serve much point
computer cheats.
because the computer cheats.
Yep. I don't know. I think it was a wasted opportunity. If you want to do, I'm okay with taking a break from the story arc to a standalone story. I just think it was a wasted opportunity,
But
and
it's
I
also
think
episode 3.
I don't know.
Like,
It's,
like we needed a departure now.
Yeah.
no, yeah.
I guess it was episode 4. It was episode 4. Sorry.
Episode 4, but episode 3 when because they left it off with Storm and the owl like thing feeding off from misery. Like, come on, like
Well,
you should have
episode
kept
4
with
did.
that.
Episode 4 did.
That was
right.
episode 4.
So
Yeah, it was
that
the
was
second.
episode
The
4.
second half of episode 4 jumps back into the Storm
So,
storyline.
right.
so do you guys remember? I think I know who the owl is. Do you remember when in the first series when they showed Storm in Africa and there was that like energy entity that she was fighting? I have a feeling that's who the owl is going to be. Is that same energy entity that Storm had banished? It was like a god or something like that she
That's
had banished from in
Okay.
the motherland. But okay, let's look. Okay, so we end it. Her and Jubilee and Sunspot kiss, and there's no repercussions for anything that happens, and it's her birthday and blah blah blah. So only the cool thing we got is we got to see 16-bit graphics. It's like Scott
Which is
Pilgrim.
cool.
Which is cool. I just think it was a wasted opportunity. So we get 15 minutes of this, and then we go into Storm and Forge trying to help Storm get her powers back. And
Right.
Forge is like, "Yo, I love you." Straight up. He's like, "Yo, you
It's
can't
really
be walking
awkward, man. It's like they fast tracked their relationship, and that's why it actually would have made way more sense if they'd taken that extra 15 minutes and not done the Jubilee arc just yet, and actually developed their relationship. So when he says it, it doesn't feel cringy.
Forge is
Yeah.
like,
No,
"Yo,
I mean-
I know how I'm gonna bag this Nubian princess. Yo, you want to get your powers back, baby?"
What's going on, Forge?
Like, I
Come
got
on,
it.
man. Ease up.
Hit him with the old "I got the ways to get your power back" play. I
Exactly.
love it. It works every time.
100%. He's like, "Yo, you gotta come back to my spot. Just stay chill in my house. We have a little bit of wine.
Cheap,
see
I'll
what
make you some
happens."
chili. You know what I mean? You know,
Exactly.
Ride my horse.
Exactly. You get her
ride
all-
my bro. When they were like, "Oh, you want to go for a ride?" I'm like, in the middle of dinner? Why are we doing this right now? And then they were just on horseback. I'm like, okay, but
And,
mind you, they're on horseback in the middle of. So it's like they're at night eating dinner. Then it was like, "Do you want to go for a ride?" Now they're during the day riding horses. Like you couldn't be like, "Hey, in the morning we're gonna go for a ride." Anyway, that's just me.
It's cutscene.
Yeah,
Cutscene.
the cutscenes. Yeah,
So I was
So-
watching this with Sebastian, and then Sebastian was like, "Why are they doing this? Why is he acting like this? Like,
Sebastian's taking notes. Like, this is how you get women.
this is
all
how you
right.
do it. I know how to get them."
Also that when Storm slaps him, it's this real iconic moment in the comics. Like the image of Storm, I think she punches him in the comics, but it's such a great image, and I was really hoping for that to land a little more in this, and it doesn't really. It didn't. Did it land for you?
Not really. Like the reason why she did it, I was like, yo, I understood why he did what he did because he needed the technology and the ability to rebuild himself.
Yeah.
So I'm like, I get it. Like you gotta use your skills to get through in life, just like anywhere. But how he did it.
See, the only thing that would make sense for me in this with Forge doing what he does, one, he comes out of nowhere, right? He comes out of nowhere, picks her up on a bus, takes her back to his ranch in the middle of nowhere,
He's trying.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
gives her wine, and
Uh-huh.
and so you're like, okay, what's going on? The only thing that Pseudo would, and then says, "I love you," and I'm like,
Yeah.
yo, man, this is happening
Come on.
so fast.
First of all,
Unless there's a backstory where Forge maybe is actually from the future, and
The
Storm and
backstory
him,
is Forge lives by himself and he's lonely and he saw
no.
himself.
I'm gonna tell you what. You see Forge. He's that smooth old man. He's never been married. He's taking down mad chicks. You tell me a dude like that, true player from the Himalayas, is gonna be like, yo, he's gonna hit you with the "I love you." That's mad out of character for this dude.
and it's too soon. It's too soon.
Forge knows what he's doing. You think this is Forge's first
Also,
rodeo?
it feels like she's been there for days, maybe a week tops. It doesn't feel like she's been there for
months.
weeks or a month. It's not like she's been there that long. So it's like,
Right.
no, man, you said this 3 days into having her at your place. It's
Yeah.
awkward.
It's mad awkward. It's mad
Like, what
awkward.
was Storm supposed to say?
Like, I love you too. Like,
I don't
oh,
even know your middle name. I don't even know your last name. Forge. Is that even your name, or is that your code name?
I'm
Who are
assuming
you?
Forge is not your real name. It's like Storm.
Right?
I don't know. That part, the tone is weird. Like I don't know. It's weird. I don't know. It felt very, very. It felt like they were like, "Hey, you guys remember how much drama we had in the first X-Men series? Well, here's us ratcheting up the drama and love stuff times 10."
It does feel like that.
Yeah.
I mean, listen, it's. I'm still with it, and what you said at the beginning of this breakdown, I think is true. There are 2 days of the week that are really excited to see what's dropping, and the potential for what X-Men 97 is, the nostalgia of it, the art of it feels both right where we left off and fresh. So it's like, it's a real cool blend. I'm with it. It's exactly the kind of content I want to see, but I hope they continue to kind of lean towards, this content is made for us. It's literally called X-Men 97, and they must realize that anyone from 97 is a damn adult at this point, and we can handle like real kind of stories with some depth into it. So yes, it's serving both children because it's a cartoon, but it's literally, they brought it back for us. So let's let it be kind of profound stuff. You can take the time to develop some of these relationships. We're gonna watch it.
I agree. I think X-Men, the first series was the strongest when it was in a longer form storytelling. So we had Batman the Animated Series was done one episode every once in a while, a two-parter done. X-Men was always four episode story arcs, and then they'll get to another story longer. That's where X-Men was strongest. I get it. The first episode was us getting reintroduced, fine. The second episode, I don't know why into episode 2, 3, and they wrapped up that story arc so quickly with Sinister and everything. They should just, whatever route they want to go, pick a story arc, do a story arc. We don't need to divert with the standalone with Jubilee yet. I agree with you, Jack, and you have a formula that works, stick with the formula that works and do it. And let's see. I mean, they all can't be bangers, but I don't know. Invincible season 1 proves every episode can be a banger.
I mean, there's enough source material, and they're picking some really good stories right now. So if they just kind of develop it and let it kind of actually progress and play out, they'll be bangers.
Or are they trying to pack too much to one season, Jack?
Well, that's what's weird about content these days. It's like, you can have an 8-episode season, you can have a 10-episode season, you have a 5-episode season, you can have a 20-episode season. And what's so beautiful about that is that means you don't necessarily need filler episodes anymore. Because it used to be television shows, you had about 24 episodes. It was dropping every week or so. And when you have that much content you're pumping out, you tend to really, it's moving so fast, you have filler episodes. You're like, and that's the Jubilee thing. It's a kind of filler episode until you get to back onto the story arc. But we're episode 3, and we kind of got a filler arc.
Yeah.
Like, that's a red flag for me this early on in the content. Hopefully that's not what goes on for the next 8 or 12 episodes, but I actually rewound the Forge Storm part because I thought maybe I missed something. Yeah.
No, they just jumped to it. He's like, "Yo, I love you. You've been walking that fine African booty around here for too long. I gotta have a piece of that."
Yo.
And that's okay. And so then that episode ends with she slaps Forge, jumps back on the horse, starts riding off. Right? She jumps back on the horse. She's still the horse.
That's why I had to rewind. I'm like, what did I miss? Because I literally like she's riding away. I'm on my phone, and all of a sudden, boom, she's in the house again. I'm just like, Wait,
But
what's
what's
going on?
odd about it is she's riding away, but this time she knows that there's a giant cliff and nowhere to go.
It's the
Where's she
Shadow.
riding?
I think what we're. I think that guy's called the Shadow Master or something. And
Well,
I think
Shadow Master knocks her off the cliff, but then picks her up and drops her through the roof of the house.
and
Which,
it turns like it's weird.
if you have no powers and you get dropped from, I don't know, high enough up to crash through the roof of a house, you're jacked up by the time you hit the floor.
Yeah.
Oh. I don't know.
So she was okay. It's a
Shadow
cartoon.
So,
The
let's see
different
what happens.
laws of physics. And
Let's see what
then Forge is quickly dispatched, so he's kind of out of the game. And then this giant owl-type creature really likes giving Storm hugs.
He loves her too.
I mean, it kind of like hugs her like 3 or 4
Yeah,
times.
I'm telling you, it's. We have to go back and watch the episode where Storm goes back to Africa. It says it had. I almost guarantee it's gonna be that same villain,
Shadow
That-
Master or Shadow King?
Shadow King, I believe.
Okay.
I think I said Shadow Master, but I think it's Shadow King.
Well,
I forgot.
Yeah, he
So
hugs it.
definitely
He was hugging his food pretty much because he feeds off of her misery, her despair.
That's it. So, let's see. You guys before we dump this segment, you want me to give you the synopsis for Wednesday's episode?
Oh yeah, sure.
So episode 5 is called Remember It. As
so we're going to Invincible now.
But wait, before we go to Invincible, and Damon Nice says, "Sup, y'all?
What's going on?
What's up, Damon?
Welcome.
What's going on? Thank you for joining.
We got a lot of new people in the house today.
We
What's going on?
do. Tens of listeners. Come on, man. So episode 5 of X-Men. This Wednesday is going to be called Remember It. As Genosha prepares to join the UN, select members of the team head to the island nation to be honorees. Back at the mansion, a behind-the-scenes press event risks airing the X-Men's dirty laundry. Ooh.
No. Okay. What laundry?
And episode 6. So I'll give you a little bit more. Episode 6 is called Life Death Part 2. So that means we're talking about episode 4 now, how it ends with Storm being held by who we think is a Shadow King, right, Rich?
Yeah, Shadow King.
So this Wednesday, we're probably not going to see what happens with Storm because Life Death Part 2 is episode 6. And I have the breakdowns for the next episode. Do you guys want them or no?
Of the X-Men? No, how many episodes are there?
Yeah, how many? Yeah, how many?
10 episodes.
Okay.
Nah, so save it. We're gonna want something to talk about later.
All right, I'll leave it. I just have this. I don't have any spoilers. I just have the titles. But all right, I'll save it.
All right, so let's jump to Invincible.
Oh wait. Damon Knight wants it.
He
All
said,
right, I'll tell you this.
What's the
All
titles?
right, I'll tell you quick. Season 6 is Life Death Part 2.
Season 6?
Episode
Season
6.
6? We didn't even got to season 2 yet.
Episode 7 is called Bright Eyes. Has to do with Boulevard Trask and Sentinels. Episode 8, 9, and 10, story arc, Tolerance is Extinction. So that may lead to you to believe that maybe Magneto's having a change of heart. So let's see what happens. I have a feeling those last 3 episodes is going to be a banger. And that's where it's going to come
I
from.
have a feeling the last 3 episodes should probably have been episodes 3, 4, and 5 intermixed with the Storm arc, and then we're missing half of the season.
Yep.
All right.
All right. Let's keep it trucking. So that was the part 2 of X-Men 97. Be back for part 3 in a couple of weeks, and we'll hit it again. Let's move on to Invincible right now. Invincible season 2. So we're talking about again 2 episodes of Invincible. So technically, we're in season 2, part 2, right?
Right.
So we last left off with episode 5. This may came as a shock, and then episode 6, which was It's Not That Simple, which was when after this dude gets shot in the head, And then we're at I'm Not Going Anywhere, episode 7, which is Mark's personal life is in turmoil as a formidable new villain emerges, possessing Invincible's toughest challenge yet. Meanwhile, Donald confronts his troubled past.
Be honest with you, I forgot who Donald was.
Donald is like is Cecil's sidekick. He's the government liaison sidekick.
I'm sorry, not Donald. I'm sorry. I was thinking of the boyfriend of the best friend.
Oh!
I totally forgot about him.
So we got a few comments in the chat. Let me just recap real quick.
Go ahead.
So yeah, we are. So if you've been watching our shows, we talked about the first few episodes of Invincible a few weeks ago, and we're talking about the next few episodes now as they've been coming out. So we're jumping from X-Men to Invincible, kind of where we personally have left off with our YouTube channel and podcast feeds. And Anointed Flow, it could have been called season 6. Technically, you're probably right. All right, so we're into Invincible, and we're talking about the last 2 episodes that have come out.
Right. So we're talking about I'm Not Going season 7, episode 7. I'm Not Going Anywhere, and then that's where Anissa shows up. What's her name? Anissa?
The
Voltron
girlfriend
chick.
Yeah,
the Voltron
yeah,
chick
Nisa. Yeah.
So she shows up, and she tells Mark, what are you doing here? Why can't you be like Chris and just take over the world and just be happy with just controlling everyone, taking over everyone?
Oh, the Viltrumite lady.
Yeah. And Mark's like, no. Straight up, no. Cecil's in his ear telling him, hey, stand down, say whatever she wants to say. And Mark is like, yeah, get out of there. And Mark is like, no. And then Mark tries to talk to her at one point, tries to explain to her, like, hey, I have this humanity, I don't want to do this, these people are worth saving. And then as they're having it, a kaiju event happens. And then she's like, all right, I'm gonna come with you and see what you see and see why you're doing what you're doing. And as Mark is fighting this thing, Mark getting smacked up, and then she just freaking blows through this thing's head, kills it. And then
Cecil's like, listen, Mark, you can't defeat her and we can't help you. So pacify her by just telling her what she wants to hear, and we'll come up with a plan to deal with her later. Mark can't do it. He's too transparent, too honest. So he does tell her no. She beats him within an inch of her life, and then he says, kill me or don't kill me. You either need me or you don't. She kind of needs him. She says, it's not my mission to kill you right now, but the next guy who comes will. So you got a little bit of time to think about it, and she's out. Right?
Yep.
The other big arc that's happening, and you touched on it, is what's going on with Donald. And Donald's arc in this episode is really good. It's really heartfelt and kind of tragic. But he learns a really valuable lesson at the end of it.
Right. So he's having an existential crisis. So kind of like Jack was foreshadowing on this one. He realized that he's being rebuilt, and that he realized that there's files that he doesn't have access to. So he's getting on Cecil. Cecil, why don't I have access to these files? Blaming Cecil? Why are you doing this to me? What's going on? And then Cecil finally takes him into the White Room, like, here. And you think it's Cecil? You think Cecil's big government, big brother saying, "Let me control you," and then we find out that it was Donald's own doing, saying he didn't want to know about this.
Right. So Donald's been killed over 37 times, rebuilt and brought back, and he has requested every time that his memory of the traumatic event be erased. And so when Cecil brings him into the room, he's got that great line where he looks at Donald and he goes, "Just remember, you asked for this."
Yep.
And Donald sits down and he watches himself get killed dozens and dozens of times over. And he tells Cecil, I want you to erase my memory again. It's too much trauma. But then what happens is Mark's best friend, forget his name, his boyfriend who was experimented on is also going through this traumatic crisis of what happened to him and being cut apart, rebuilt, and brought back to life. And he's about to take his life. He's about to self-delete, is the term we're allowed to use. He's about to self-delete himself. And Donald shows up on the rooftop and stops him and shows him that, hey, man, I'm a robot too.
Right.
You know,
Yep.
so little.
Comes to find out that he's like 30% human still.
Yep.
Like, even
Every
less.
time it's a little bit less.
Right. And so, you know, they got that song, Step Off That Ledge, My Friend. And he, you know, takes his hand, they have a moment, and it's really heartfelt. And Donald comes to the conclusion. He tells Cecil, he tells the kid, you know, I was going to have my memory wiped, but this is why I need to keep it.
Yeah, he gets purpose. Donald gets his sense. Well, Donald's very selfless. We see, even with his memory erased, we see how selfless he is.
Over and
over again. That's just in his nature, right? To be like that. He's a hero. He's a hero through and through, but with no powers. That's who Donald is.
Yep.
And
the other person. Go ahead. Sorry.
No, go ahead.
No, it's totally separate. You go.
Oh, and I just think now he's a hero with purpose. Before but now once he touched this kid and really like got through to him, it helped him as much as he helped the boyfriend.
Right. Now, if I'm Donald moving forward, I'm going to Cecil and I'm being like, okay, Cecil, since I'm 90% robot, let's give me some abs. Let's put my hair back on my head. Let's do the double chin. Let's get me some blaster guns. Come on, man. We're going to do this. We're not going to do this.
Exactly.
You know what
Exactly.
I mean? The other person who we have in this content now who's just like totally has a change of character is Rex Blode.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
Rex Blode goes from like this womanizing prick that nobody likes and can respect to really being heroic, to basically being killed himself. I mean, the guy literally gets shot in the head, his arms bit off. They rebuild him, and he's got this really cool episode here where he's debating about whether he's gonna retire and just sit on the beach and drink Mai Tais, or I'm gonna jump back on the horse. And if I don't jump back on the horse right now and put myself in a really bad position, I'll probably go opt for sitting on the beach, which also, why would that be a bad thing for me? Anyways, let's go get into a fight. Gets into a fight just to find out that they actually did give him some upgrades.
Yes.
Oh, yeah. And that blaster was pretty dope. Like, let's be for real.
Pretty dope.
Like, he should have just started off with that blaster and just ended the whole thing right there.
Right.
Well, it seemed like he didn't even know he had it.
Right.
It's
like they give them this technology and it was like, you know what? Figure it out on your own. It's like a car salesman. It's like, hey, I'm gonna put you in this brand new car with all this new technology and push you out the door. You figure it out on your own.
You'll be all right.
Just don't touch the green button.
Yeah.
Yep. And then what else happens? Mark breaks up with his girlfriend.
It was a long time coming.
Long time coming. We knew it was coming. In the comics, it happened way, way, way sooner.
Yeah, but the comics didn't have Zazie Beetz reading the voiceover.
That's true. So I guess you got talent like that. You want to get as much use. You want to get as much use out of it as possible. Yeah. So we know where this is going, and then we end with Angela Levy coming back and tying in that the multiverse and time travel arc that we started part 2 with, which I'm happy they did, and once we get into the next episode, I'm happy we get into that. We conclude this arc because I felt when we had this, I felt the series wasn't as strong jumping back and forth between timelines and between dimensions.
Yeah.
But they did give us the one dimension jump the couple dimension jumps that we had to have from the comics, which was cool. We'll talk about the next episode, but I'm glad that so this episode ends with Angstrom Levy calling Mark because he's holding Oliver and his mother hostage.
Right.
And
So
then we move in. And then we move into. Did I miss anything from I'm Not Going Anywhere?
That was really it.
pretty good. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. So then we move into episode 8 is I Thought You Were Stronger, which is an old enemy, which we know is Angstrom Levy, threatens everything Mark holds dear. And I want to get to this comic. I want to get to this comic by Anointed Flow, where he says, "I'm tired of Mark getting jolly stomped in almost every episode."
For real.
But in the comics, it's like that. He gets his butt handed to him in the comics. In the beginning, he's still learning. He's still a teenager. He's still a college kid. He's only been a superhero for, I don't know, what, 6 months, a year at this point, if that long?
I mean, the other thing, what it's really setting up is a couple of things. He's not very good at it still, right? He's
Right.
still learning. And the threat level that he's going against is often tremendous.
He's not fighting street level people.
No,
True.
and he's not Superman. He's Superboy. His father was Superman, and his father's not really in this content.
Right. Oh, real quick, we get a flash. Alan lets himself get captured by the Viltrumites. So
this is where it's at, man.
Yeah.
Yo, Alan
is a great character throughout this entire series. Throughout the comic book run, he's a fantastic character. So Alan's he's a utopian who's been bred in a lab so that if he doesn't heal up, when he almost dies, it's very much like Dragon Ball Z. When he comes back even stronger.
He's like Doomsday,
Yeah, exactly.
Like all these characters that, man, you wish you'd actually figured out how to finish the job, because now finishing the job is going to be
right. So Alan gets punched by the Viltrumite. He's like, "Whoa, that didn't hurt as much as I thought it was going to hurt." Right. He pretends to get knocked out, gets taken back to their ship so he can contact Omnius.
The best thing is when Alan is like peeking. And it's like, bruh, you still got one giant eye.
yeah, you can't be. Your eyes is in your head like this, so you peeking is not gonna. It's not gonna be like. Oh man, that's true.
So good.
All right. So now let's jump into episode 8. I Thought You Were Stronger. So, an old enemy. So we flash forward to Angstrom Levy has Oliver and his mother hostage. Invincible shows up and he's trying to figure out. Invincible doesn't recognize him at first. He explains to him. Invincible tries to appeal to the good side of him, whatever left, and then right away, bam, he goes after him. He opens up a portal, throws him in a portal. He ends up in a world of dinosaurs that talk. And now we start to see all these different dimensions. And we get some of the greatest panels in the beginning of the story arc is when he travels to the Marvel universe. He travels to the DC universe. He meets Spider-Man. He meets Batman. It's pretty freaking cool.
I mean, the Batman one's good because you're like, clearly they don't have the rights to show him. So they just say, the scene's good. They're on a rooftop in a grungy city at night. You see a black cape kind of flowing in the foreground. Invincible sitting on the ledge in the background. He's just kind of looking at this figure, and he's like, "So you dress like?" He goes, "Not very original. You dress like a bat, and your superhero name is," and then they don't say it.
Right.
They can't say it. They cut to the next thing.
It's not very original.
Yeah, but it's cool. It's cool because the whole thing about Invincible is that with Invincible, we're dropped into this world where we have this whole existing superhero universe, already established, and a lot of these characters are very much, what's the word? They're very much not.
They're ripoffs.
Yeah, they're ripoffs, but ripoffs not in a lazy way. They're meant to be.
It's like The Boys. They're taking archetypes that have existed since the 30s and they're flipping them on their head. So literally his dad is Superman.
Right.
And the Viltrumites are basically Kryptonians that don't need a yellow sun to be superpowered.
Right.
And instead of them being heroes, they're villains. And instead of them doing good things, they're taking over the galaxy. And his father, instead of being a hero of Earth,
Calm
he's
down,
trying
calm
to.
down. Because if you look at it through Chris's lens, they're actually doing good because they take
Yeah, you're
over
right.
these planets and they
Right.
Right.
for the better, right?
It's true.
They
Well,
bring them technology. They take
It's
away
true.
war and
It's
violence.
true. She was
Well, you
dropping
listen
knowledge. She
to,
was spitting
to what's her
news.
face's speech she gives to Mark when they're fighting the giant kaiju in the middle of the ocean. It's like everything she's saying. It's like, oh, you kind of having Viltrumite rule would actually just help the population to thrive and not be dead or attacked by all these other creatures. We'd actually govern them and protect them.
Yeah,
Yes, enslave them, but
I
they wouldn't
mean,
be frivolously killed unless we
tomatoes,
did it because
tomatoes.
they spoke out. But then that happens because they spoke out. It's really awkward, I guess, when you really think about it. But
right.
it made sense for her.
It did. It did. There was a term, Southern paternalism, which is kind of like what that
Yeah,
that,
Rich.
that yeah
Where
no
we go with this?
no it was a real term that was a logic of keeping black people enslaved, was that
I
the slave
figured that's
owners.
where we were going. All
Yeah,
right, go on.
no, but and that was the logic, was like, hey, we know better, we have better technology, we can do all this stuff better. That's why it's better for us to keep these people kind of under our thumb. And it was like a fancy name of it was a fancy name for something like atrocious and horrific.
Yeah.
But
Well then,
On that note,
on that note,
so Bill Smith are trying to take over.
yeah,
Oh, right.
so yeah,
Ancient Levy shows up and he puts Mark in a really bad situation where he's got his purple brother in a death grip and breaks his mom's arm off and he starts sending him through multiverses, right?
right.
Ancient Levy's a really interesting villain though, because he starts out as a hero figure trying to do good across the multiverse, not just his universe, but all universes.
All the universes.
And
go on.
No, you go ahead.
And he became the way he did because he wanted to stop Mark from getting beat.
Exactly.
Right, because he engaged the Molar twins, and the Molar twins essentially are just bad, and then they did what bad guys do.
Exactly, and so so that's why he's such an interesting villain, because he's really kind of a hero, but because of the experiment that goes wrong, and it explodes his brain, and instead of giving him the collective knowledge segmented, he just gets everybody's identity mashed on top of each other. So he's looking at Mark, who a version of him knows that this version of Mark is one of the only versions that's really good across the multiverses. But because he's seen Mark in every other multiverse, he's looking at Mark through this filter of he's the most horrible thing in all the multiverses.
Right. And we see flashes of times where he's killed when Mark is executing people and executing his kid, and Mark's doing all these terrible things, but it's not this Mark. It's the Mark of that universe.
Right.
All those universes, because
all those universes.
Right. I think this might have been the only Mark that has not done anything wrong,
or one of few.
Yeah.
Right. So then eventually, after he hurts Oliver, he breaks the mother's arm. They jump into like this I guess like Mad Max-esque like apocalyptic universe, and he's starting to monologue a little bit. You think I would let anyone kill you? I'm the one to kill you, blah blah blah. And then he has, you remember in Superman the animated series where Superman has that speech like, I've been living my life in a paper bag and you can take it, big boy? Mark has that same moment.
But you're skipping a part. Antrim says something to Mark before Mark has that moment where he says, when I went to all these scientists to rebuild me, I had them make me stronger. And so he leads Mark to believe, and he believes it himself, that he is immeasurably strong and probably even stronger than Mark. And then Mark says, what you don't know is...
Yep, I've been holding back. and then Mark goes ham on him.
Oh, yeah.
On him.
Yeah. And the reason why, because he's been getting tossed around so many dimensions, and then sometimes the time flows differently in some of these dimensions or some of these universes. So we don't know. We don't have like a full grasp of how long he's been going through all of it. All we have is the fact that it's still night where he originated from at his mom's house. It's just his house. But he's been bounced around so much. It could have been months. If not maybe a couple years.
You see even the walk. It was kind of cool, like a Walking Dead type universe, sitting around a campfire, and he's explaining that exact point.
Yeah,
he's like, I don't know how years, months, whatever, weeks, whatever it's been. I don't know how long it's been.
Yeah, and some of them those mentions he's been getting mollywopped in. Like,
Yep.
He's been getting mollywopped a bunch of cavemen. I'm like, wait a minute, like, what, superhero cavemen?
Strong cavemen.
Yeah. And then Anointed Flo has a question. Does the baby brother, does Oliver get powers in the comics? Spoiler alert. Yes, he does.
I'm about to say he's a Viltrumite.
Yeah, he does. You'll see it. And I'm surprised he hasn't aged. And honestly, I'm surprised he hasn't aged up quicker than he already has. But
they'll jump by the time they get to season 3.
Yeah, because it's probably been like what, maybe a week.
Right.
Yeah. That's true.
And remember, he was on the planet for what, like 4 months, 3 or 4 months,
something like that. So Mark loses it, and that's where the title comes. I thought you were stronger because he just punching.
He kills.
He kills.
He does. He more than does. He eviscerates the guy so brutally that they don't even show the image in the cartoon.
Right.
They skirt around actually showing you just how much destruction
which is good because it's more impactful that way.
I think so too, because the content doesn't skirt around showing violence. So for them,
because we see Rex. We see Rex get shot in the head last episode.
Exactly, that's my point. So for them not to show this is like
this is less is more.
Yeah,
and that's what this was, like, very Hitchcocky, and like, I'm going to show you less because it's more of an impact than actually showing you what happened.
Right. And they really give Mark a moment to identify with what he's done to the level he's done it. They let him go through a whole gamut of emotions, ultimately wrapping around to taking ownership, and I lost control.
Yeah.
He tries to justify it. He kind of mourns it. He goes through all this stuff until he owns it. This one's on me. I lost control. I thought you were stronger. That's him justifying it. You told me you were stronger. Until he's like, I killed him. I killed you. I killed him. And then the episode gets interesting because we have the Guardians of the Globe from Mark's universe timeline, future timeline, coming to this Mad Max universe through a time portal that they eventually were able to develop, and saying, listen, Mark, we're going to send you back in time in our universe to the time where you were taken out of it, right when you were taken out of it, so you don't have to be here, because in our timeline, you were stuck on this planet, and by the time you got off the planet, the Mark you come into is probably way closer to the Mark of the other universes, and it's not pretty. So let's send you back in time.
Yep.
And then Eve has a moment right before Mark steps into the portal.
And Eve's like, tell him, I love you, and I've always loved you. And tell Eve to either, pretty much shit or get off the pot. Like, either make a move or, let her move on. But we love you. We as in the collective Eves. And so,
which is interesting because Mark's sitting here going, oh, I didn't know that. Right. I was just in a relationship with a girl that went south yesterday. Right. And now Eve of the future is telling me that Eve of the past, my present, has been in love with me the entire time, waiting for me to say something.
Yeah, well, it's been obvious as from the viewer standpoint.
Well, that's true. And in the comics, it's obvious.
Yeah, it's obvious. I mean, the comics, the Amber stuff doesn't last nowhere near as long as it does. So,
That's right. So Mark does fly to Eve, and they sit down and they have a moment, and he's sitting next to her. Also, I got a question. Have you guys noticed the black eyes?
The
His
black.
his mom has
Yes.
a black
Yes.
eye. He has the
Yes.
same black eye, and his father has the same black eye.
Yes.
Like, people are only throwing lefts.
That's it. They can't. Everyone in the family drops their guard on that side.
I was like, I was really, yeah. I was like, what's going on, man? Everyone got the same black eye. And anyway, so Mark finds Adam Eve, Eve, and says, starts to tell her something, but then says, "Oh, never mind." And then Eve has a really interesting last moment with Mark. Like, I wasn't expecting that. And I've read the comics. I guess I forgot it, but she says, "You don't deserve what's happening to you. You don't deserve this." And Mark kind of puts his head on her shoulder and cries quietly. And I'm like, "Yeesh, man, this content is."
Mark's going through it, man.
Yeah.
The content is good.
Content is good. I'm telling you, the best 2 days of the week, man. TV wise, Wednesday and Thursday, back to back.
Oh, that's not how the episode ends, though.
No.
Then what we have is we jump back to the planet. We jump back to the prison ship that's floating through space, right? And Alan is talking to Nolan because Alan wanted to get himself put in prison so he could break Nolan out, right?
Right. Oh, sorry. I'm reading Excedera's comment.
What do you say?
I'll let you read it, Jack. Since you're the most progressive out of all of us.
I'm trying. We're trying to keep this content online for as long as possible. But you really don't need to say much more.
Anyway.
So Alan is talking to Nolan with his telepathy, and saying, "Hey, man, I'm here for you." What Nolan doesn't know, and nobody knows this but Alan, and Alan doesn't even know to what extent he knows it. He's so OP, is insane at this point.
Yeah.
And so when Alan decides to start throwing hands, this ship is coming apart.
Yep.
And Nolan has this really funny moment where he acknowledges, one, he deserves to be punished for what he's done because he's still Viltrumite, but he also acknowledges that he's not Viltrumite anymore because he's weak and he's human and he has empathy and he cares about these pathetic creatures that are going to, fade away quickly. And then the last thing he says is, "Except," and Alan's like, yeah. "I think I miss my wife."
Yeah.
Yep. And what we know is, we'll see. It look, Invincible is so freaking good. It's just so good, and I'm glad it's it's funny because I read this story probably 10 years ago, Jack.
We skipped the scene.
We skipped the scene. We'll get
We skipped a really good scene. There's a scene before Mark breaks up with Amber. They go to like a Comic-Con convention, right?
Right.
And there's all these guys cosplaying as Invincibles, and Mark's like, "Is that what I look like?" And she's like, "Well," but there's this great moment where Mark goes to get an autograph from his favorite comic book artist.
Oh, yeah.
Seance Dog.
Right. And
Seance Dog.
what's great is this scene is really for us audience members. And in that moment, they break down. They're telling the audience that, hey, man, it takes a long time to make cartoons and to draw these things and to get it right. And if you really pay attention, you'll see where we try to cut corners so you have better action sequences. And they talk about how, like, when a character's like covering their mouth, they don't have to animate it, or like they'll cut to the person
behind the head.
Yeah, they cut to the person listening instead of the one talking, so they don't have to. They showing all these. It's such a great inside moment for audience and other animators who make this stuff, and they're letting us know what's going on. They're also kind of acknowledging that it took a really long time for us to get season 2, but they're also kind of telling us that it's probably going to take a long time for us to get season 3.
Yep.
So that was a good little Easter
That
egg
was
kind
awesome. That was
scene.
awesome. That was
Then
awesome.
we have another scene in episode, I believe it was episode 8, with and we cut away to Immortal carrying fish back to his shack in the frozen tundra somewhere. And then he's chilling, getting ready, and next thing you know, boom, he hears noise of Duplicate. We see Duplicate, which I'm like, yo, I never read the comics, so I was just like, I had to do a little research on all the powers and everything like that, and I got a little deep into Duplicate, and I'm like, when she died, I was like, there's no way we're going to leave her just like this. There's absolutely no way.
Yeah.
But the fact Duplicate can make obviously duplicates of herself, but she has a contingency plan where she doesn't have all of her duplicates
On
in one
field.
spot. Yeah, on the field. So there's a duplicate somewhere off. What just happened?
What just happened?
I don't know. I like it.
That was incredible.
I'm dropping gems. So
That's it.
So Duplicate has at least one somewhere off the map.
Well, all her duplicates are numbered, and so when we saw her in the Guardians team, Kate Prime was number 1. And we always saw number 2 and number 3 and number 4 when she was fighting, but she'd always go back to 1. So the duplicate that shows up talking to Immortal has a 0 on her chest. And you're like, she's the original. And what she tells the Immortal is, I got so tired of dying and being ripped apart that I've locked myself away. I haven't actually.
Comment. And she makes that comment in an earlier episode, where she's like, I can't stand dying.
Yeah.
Or something like that. And
she even says, I was going to take this opportunity to slip into obscurity, but I can't because we all the duplicates all share one consciousness.
Right.
And I love you.
And
I'm here.
That was a big scene because, as we saw in the past episodes, Immortal was going through his little existential crisis.
Yeah.
He had a connection with Duplicate. They both love each other. And now that he lost the last Kate, the original, or what he thought was the original Kate, he was kind of going through his own little thing, like, oh, I should have been there to help, to save, and so on and so forth. And now this kind of brings a tie and a knot in the bow of his sanity, I guess you can say, because the original is there and they can kind of pick up and like live this life.
Well, the other thing that's really great is, this is what Forge didn't have, was character development. So when these moments existed, you're sitting here rooting for the characters instead of going, you love them?
You love her?
Yeah.
But what's so great, she literally, she says she's sorry for lying and keeping this a secret to him.
And he doesn't care. He's just so happy to have her back.
Yeah.
He doesn't bat an eye. He just hugs her and embraces the fact that she still exists on this planet. It's such good content, man. Every moment is so good.
Look, I'm telling you, once they got out of it, once they got out of the jumping from dimension to dimension, jumping time to time, and they just stuck with this continuity, this continuity arc, this is where they're strongest. This is where they do well. X-Men is strongest in long form storytelling. You do long arcs. This is, each of these shows that we talked about today has their lane, and when they stick to their lane, they really, really shine, and we get some fantastic television. We're getting what we've been lacking on the big screen, the kind of the feeling and the engagement and the just the quality content we've been lacking in the big screen. We're getting it right now.
There's no live action version of any comic book content like Invincible. There's nothing.
No.
I'm like, you might say with the rated R, Deadpool has the rated R factor, but it doesn't have the heart or the depth that this.
You're right, because even if you try to liken The Boys to it, The Boys is very much a lot of shock value. Oh, let me climb inside a penis and explode. Let me do this grotesque things, but it's shock value, right? Like it's it's freaking gross. But Invincible's violent, but the violence is
is all
is
hard.
secondary to the story to the storyline.
Ripaverse.
Ripaverse. What's that?
What's that? Explain yourself, etc.
Ripaverse. I don't know that one. But if it's a live action version, kind of like Invincible, I'll definitely check it out.
Yeah.
And I mean, they've been talking about a live action version of Invincible, which I wonder how much it is.
Well, Walter
how do they do that?
Walter Goggins, who plays Cecil, says that he's played an old man before and he could do it again and play Cecil in live action. So,
well, look at what he's playing right now. He's in his Fallout, right?
Oh yeah, that's right.
And he looks great in that. Which actually that comes out this week.
So that's what we're talking about next week. So join us next week.
Yeah.
Yeah, where we talk about Walter Goggins.
Yep, that's it.
He's so good, man. He's so good. You guys see him in
Vice Principals?
Vice Principal. He's hysterical.
he's about like F buttholes. He has some one-liners that's freaking awesome in Vice Principals.
Yeah,
Rich, if you haven't watched it, Rich, it's right up your alley.
My first introduction, that I could remember him in was what was the biker? Sons of Anarchy. When he was when he was a trans woman.
Yeah. And even that, he was fantastic in that.
Yeah, he was. He was.
He's pretty good in everything.
Yeah, the runtime Invincible helps too. I agree, Anointed Flow. The runtime makes you want more. Every time it's over, you're like, I catch myself when I'm watching.
They're hour episodes. They're 40-minute episodes, hour-long episodes.
Still, you pause it and see. Okay, I have like 20 minutes left. Okay,
I know. You're like, oh, thank goodness, I got 20 minutes left.
Yeah, it's true.
Yeah, the runtime helps in the sense of they're big episodes. You know, there's a lot of good content in there. X-Men's like 30-minute episodes.
Yep.
So, kind of off track. I was looking at the Danny Boyle Matrix remix or reboot. It's a stage show.
Danny Boyle's doing a stage version of the Matrix.
The reimagining of the Matrix. Hold on.
It worked fantastic with Spider-Man Turn Off the Dark, so I could see why.
No, it didn't. That guy was in the hospital for what?
I know. I'm joking. I know.
Whatever I'm assuming that's them coming out the pods.
Oh.
This looks like animated sperms with feet.
Yeah, bro. I don't know. It's wild.
Yeah.
Okay, well that answers that question. I'm glad you found clarity in that. They do have some Matrix video game, new Matrix video game being worked on. They said though.
Yes, they had some like they had a Matrix like game, but they were demonstrating the new Unreal Engine, which you was on a highway scene, a little bit of fighting, shooting, gunshot, but then after that you're kind of like free roaming in a city that was kind of lifeless. Actually, not even kind. It was really lifeless. It had a few little bots running around, but you really couldn't do anything. You could fly around and do stuff, but the city was kind of dull. But it showed off the engine, and the engine looked good. So you know. All right, so what we at?
Well, Chris, that's the review for Invincible?
That's the review for Invincible. Good talk, guys. Good shows. And you know what? This is the second show we've dedicated to both these series, and I look forward to closing up. We'll do it at least one more, maybe two more, depending on how many episodes are in Invincible. But I'm digging this content, and it's worth the talk because it's just so good.
It's so good.
It's worth the additional talks, is what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah. Even X-Men is good. I know we kind of, I wouldn't say trashed it a little bit, but.
It deserved, for setting the bar so high.
Yeah,
it deserved the flack we gave it. Let's put it that way.
It's honest.
Yeah.
Right. I mean, we got 5 more episodes of X-Men, so.
Yep. Yeah. I'm not sure how much more we have Invincible, but we'll see. We'll see what happens.
Recommendations.
Let's hit them. So I'm going to give you guys 3 obscure cartoons that I used to love. They're kind of from Geek and a couple other ones. There were one season syndication cartoons. So you have one season, but because it was syndication, you get like 65 episodes in one season. And if you can find it, watch it. They're funky. They're kind of cool. They're 90s stuff. But tell me if you guys remember. First one I'm hitting you with is Knights of King Arthur's Court, where the football team goes back and they become knights. You remember that?
Yeah, I remember that.
This is not the first time you've talked about this content.
I freaking love this cartoon. And I was thinking about what to do, and I saw it and it came up, and I'm like, I'm gonna make a list of just obscure one season. I've been watching this. There's been this guy. I'm gonna give him a shout out. His name is you know what? Let me pull it up because I've been watching a ton of his content lately, and it's been really good. And what he's been doing was one season cartoons from the 90s, and from that he's shown some like really fantastic stuff that like I forgot about that I really liked. So
ETC just mentioned one too.
What do you say? What did ETC say?
Young Robin Hood.
I don't remember that.
Yeah, I remember Young Robin Hood.
You do? Cartoon?
Yeah. Oh, my phone's gonna die. Yeah, Young Robin Hood cartoon. I remember that. It did not run very long. Well, I think did it only have the one season?
A lot of these things did. So they talk about, Cadillacs and dinosaurs, which we spoke about, Tailspin, and all this cool stuff that was like made for syndication. That
Tailspin was great.
Tailspin
there was a video game of that.
Really? They had a ton of toys. They don't know why Tailspin didn't get a season 2, because they put a ton of marketing dollars behind it. There was a ton of tie-ins and ton of toys and stuff like that, and it just didn't. But you figure we did get it wasn't 13 episodes. It was 65 episodes of Tailspin we got. So
what is the Line? What do you guys think about The Line? What is that? The Line?
What is The Line?
Classified.
Oh, I don't know. I was sitting there Googling, and I have no idea. I looked up Rippaverse. I've never heard of Rippaverse, but it looks pretty dope.
Yeah.
I don't know if you heard of Jack. You've heard of the Rippaverse.
I'm making a note of it. I'm gonna jump into it though. Yeah. ETC, thanks for that one.
Yeah. So the guy's channel is called The Review, and he's been doing a ton of so he has he goes by year from the 90s of series, a lot of it which is cool, is Saturday morning cartoons. So we talked about the King Arthur thing. You guys remember Mummies Alive? G.I. Joe Classified.
Oh,
that was a good
Classified. One. Okay.
G.I. Joe's.
So the second G.I. Joe movie.
You talking about the toy line?
No, there was a cartoon.
It was a show.
There was a cartoon called G.I. Joe Classified that was kind of like
toy line is pretty good though.
The toy line is cool, but the cartoon came out and it was very much anime-esque. And actually, the second G.I. Joe movie was based on G.I. Joe Classified, where you had a rogue team of G.I. Joes that was kind of like A-Team. You had a rogue team of G.I. Joes that was being hunted for a crime that they didn't commit. So,
I'm stuck on the toys. The new G.I. Joe toys, the 6-inch figures, are pretty sick.
Go to Ross. You get a ton of them for sale at Ross. They're awesome, but I got a problem because I'm a purist and.
Oh, you like that O-ring?
He likes his O-ring.
I'm an O-ring guy. But the toys that we have in my rotation that we play with are O-ring toys.
Yeah, I said he likes that O-ring.
Like that O-ring.
Like that O-ring.
You and my brother.
That's it.
Yo, I gotta have my little brother on the show and show off his G.I. Joes. His collection is there. You go. Right? You can't have Joes of the 80s and early 90s without the O.
Wolverine and the X-Men, fantastic, etc. Wolverine and the X-Men was a fantastic X-Men cartoon that doesn't get enough shine.
What is the rest of your recommendation? Because they are smashing you right now.
Oh yeah, right.
Oh, so Mummies Alive and James Bond Jr.
Okay. I'm sorry, what?
Yeah, there was a James Bond
Jr. chases scum around the world.
Yeah.
There was a James Bond Jr. cartoon.
Yeah, but he was James Bond Jr., but James Bond was his uncle.
Which
Gosh,
makes
I
no
wonder why
sense,
this
bro.
only lasted one season.
65 episodes, baby.
60, that's a long season.
Well, it's that's the Anointed Flow. You're right. It's not classified. It is Renegades. Classified as a toy.
And you
Renegades
just
was a
lost your
cartoon.
card, Chris.
But I was right. Renegades was based on, but they did base the second GI Joe movie, the one with the Rock. It was based on GI Joe Renegades.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, and that's it. That's all we got.
That's it. That's all you got.
That's all I got.
Where's the boy
well,
at?
Good shows,
Sleeping.
Jen.
Oh, he's sleeping.
He fell
Alright.
asleep.
With this.
So we'll let him. And then
Hold on,
Where in the World is Carmen Sandiego? The cartoon was awesome. Captain Planet.
Was there only
Awesome.
one episode? There was more than one season. There's definitely
Captain
more than one
Planet,
season.
I think, had multiple seasons.
Yeah, of course.
But Where in the World is Carmen Sandiego? The cartoon was only one
And
season.
the Don Cheadle live action version of it is pretty great.
Yeah. Yeah, it is.
The PBS show?
Right.
The PBS Carmen Sandiego?
Oh, the yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. All right.
All right, guys.
So that's it. Be good.
All
All the
right.
recommendations
So,
have been
like-
recommended.
Yeah, we've been all recommended. Guys, thanks for joining us. We're here every week, talking about the stuff that makes us happy. We're happy to have you join us. Thanks for everyone in the chat. Like, subscribe. We're on all the major stuff. I don't have Sebastian here to tell us what to do, but you guys know what to do. Hit that music, Rich.
We out.
Peace.
Later.
Yeah. Peace.